This is life under quarantine. I am not by nature an optimistic person. I wish I was. I work at being optimistic in my thinking, at least. I try to be optimistic in my decision making. But left to my own thoughts, I tend to be much more cynical and pessimistic, honestly. How do I know this about myself, you may ask? As an example, I've been thinking a lot about the upcoming end of the governor's stay-at-home order here in North Carolina. And there's a lot of debate and back and forth about whether or not that's a good idea, and I am not an expert in a lot of those particular elements, and so I will leave those kind of judgments to the experts. What I find I am cynical about is my expectation of people's behavior once the order is lifted. My cynicism assumes that rather than most people choosing to venture out, be cautious about their interaction, take things slow, they will instead fly out to every public venue that they possibly can and fill them up. Now, as I said, this is my own cynical thinking. It's apparently the way my brain is wired that my first thought is of negative possibilities rather than positive ones. I don't know that that's what's going to happen. How could I? If I could predict the future, let's just say my life would be a little more interesting. Now, just because I'm cynical about most human behavior doesn't mean that I'm judging that behavior, because just like myself, everyone has internal drives and reasons for what they do. Whether or not I agree with those reasons is completely beside the point. It also doesn't mean that I'm right. Acknowledging that my baseline seems to be cynical is by definition me saying this is a lens that my thinking sees reality through. It's by definition filtered or colored. So knowing this about myself and knowing that cynical thinking tends to keep me from doing things and is more likely to, rather than predict the outcome, actually create it, I work really hard at making myself think positively, consciously thinking what's the optimistic view, what are the good possibilities. Sometimes I do better than others. Doing it enough has made me at the very least realize that I can't predict the future, whether cynically or optimistically. So if I catch myself doing that, I try to rein it in. So who knows if our stay-at-home order will be lifted on the 1st of May, or if, like the city I live in, they'll want to extend it until the end of May. Whenever it's eventually lifted, who knows what people will do. Humans are a weird mixed crew, and everybody's going to do what seems like a good idea to them at the time. So I guess we'll see. So if you're like me and you're having very cynical thoughts, very negative thoughts about where we're at and what's going on, just try to recognize that and understand that that's one way of looking at it. And it's a particular lens that you're seeing things through. And there are other ways. And you may or may not be able to adjust that or refocus. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But just knowing that and being aware of it can make a big difference. So I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Take care.